Welcome in, everyone. I am still getting some of my stuff set up, so just give me a second. I see y'all. Just give me a second. I am getting things still set up. See if you can hear me. Let me write a message in the chat. I am getting things still. All right, let's see what we got going on. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's see. I want to put one more thing and then I will be ready. You know, I've been getting ready for 2 hours. I'm still not ready. I'm going to get the hang of this though. I am going to get the hang of this. Eventually. One day. Okay, so what I've done here is I have my I have traced this on using pastels, and what I did was I just took the outline drawing and then I covered the back of the outline drawing with some pastels, and I put it on top of my paper, and then I just traced over it and the pastel transferred. There is a video in Patreon. I have a little light sort of bluish gray Canson Me-Tints paper. I have it on a foam core backboard, and then I have it on this tiny little easel, which normally I would do it on my big easel and just have a big backer board on that easel. But for today's purposes, I'm doing it kind of small. So the first thing we're going to do is, oh, and I did a picture in picture because I wanted you to be able to see what kind of pastels I'm using. A trick that I do is when I use a pastel, I leave it sitting up like that. I don't know if you can tell. I sit it up like that so that I'll know what I'm using, what I've already used, and I can just easily reach for it. Now the first thing I'm going to do is start on the eye, and I am using some pastel pencil for this. And I am going to go right in here to the pupil. Let's see, can you see? Let me move this over so I can see. Hey Carol, good to see you. I'm having to move my stuff around so I can see what I'm doing. I might not be, I'm doing this all by myself, so I might not be able to answer y'all in the chat, but I see you, Carol. I'm glad you're here. So this is a carbon black, and it's just a pastel pencil. I'm going to go ahead and do the pupil. And notice I'm leaving a little bit of space for the highlight. Then I'm going to take a really pale blue and go around, do the iris. Now you can do this with your soft pastels. I would recommend, having a larger picture to do it with the soft pastels because you're going to have more room to navigate. So I put that on there, just put that light blue, and then I'm going to come and I have this sort of, let's see, what color is this? It is a cobalt turquoise. And I'm just going to draw some fine lines. Let me see if I can make this a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Hopefully that helps. And a little bit darker at the top. I'm just doing some fine lines there. You can even go around the outer edge with a little bit of that darker color. Then you can come in with the white and add some light highlights. Like so, and then maybe some here. Now I'm going to take my black. Did I say marker? If I said marker, I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm doing pastels, but y'all also know I got ADHD and I got 50 million things going through my mind at one time. So I'm just going to outline his eye with this black, and this is, carbon black, and these are Derwent pastels. A lot of people don't like Derwent pastel pencils, but I do. So that's what I'm using. And then I'm going to take this light blue again, and I'm just going to do like little tiny marks because he has some crinkles Has a little bit of crinkles in his eyelids. Hey Linda, I did it for the time that you chose. Nobody else voted, so 3 o'clock it is, and here we are. I'm so glad to have you in here. All right, so I got that done. Now we're going to do some blocking. I am going to block in some colors really lightly. I am going to use the hard pastel to do that first. This is my semi, and it is a grass green. And I'm just going to do some light strokes. I'm just trying to put in where I want this color to start off with. It doesn't have to be all finicky. Now whenever you're working with pastels, you want to go from broad to detailed. So we are doing the broad strokes first, and then at the end we're going to do the detail. You also want to go with your darker colors first. You don't want to lay down your light colors and then try to go dark over it, because it will not look correct. Because once you put that light color down, it will dilute your darker color and you won't get as dark as you want. So you usually start out with the darkest darks first, but since these are just sort of overlapping, it's okay. Let's see, anywhere else I need to put that. All right, then I am going to come in with this cobalt blue, and I'm still working with my hard pastels. I'm just going to put a little bit here. This is actually black, a black marking that he has around here, but I'm going to start it off with a little bit of cobalt blue just to give it a little bit of interest. I also need to put some green right here. He has a little green feathers tufted out right there, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Then I am going to take this, what is the name of this one? It is light phthalo green. Looks like a turquoise to me. Now the reason I didn't butt this all the way up to the edge of this paper is because when I mat it, I want to be able to have some paper, you know, kind of coming off the edge, so the edge of the mat will come right here, and I'll have, you know, excess paper to attach my mat to. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this just down the back, and just a little. I'm not going to worry about that yet. We're not going to worry about that. So I got something to clean my. I'm just going to take my fingers. You can use a tool. I'm just using my fingers just to blend that first layer together, get it all in there. We're just going to block in some of the colors to start with. And we'll get my wipes. Carol actually sent these wipes to me when I had my last, they're almost gone, but when I had my last hip replacement. By the way, guys, I'm getting another hip replacement for my other hip on October the 22nd. So I don't know what I'm going to do for the last part of October and the first part of November in the Patreon group, but I'll figure something out. All right, now I'm going to come in here with this white. I need a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to clean my color off because I want it to be white. And I am going to go around his eye here. And again, you can use your soft pastel, but my fingers are fat and the pastel is fat. And there's little black markings, so I'm trying to kind of color around those to get this white part of his face on. But I'm going to come back with black and get that in there. Get those little, what they are tiny little feathers. Just tiny, tiny little feathers. And I may come back in with a little bit of the soft white pastel, but I'm going to get this in there first. I'm going to get this base in there first. See, Can you see what I'm doing? Here, let me move this over. Let's pull it out just a little tiny bit there. Yeah, my girls, Carol and Linda are here. My longtime friends and supporters. I love them. They have been supporting me for 500 forevers. They just follow me around being my bestest friends. So you're going to get that blocked in. I'm going to do just a little bit of light white here on his nostril, not a lot. Then I am going to take my black hard pastel. We're going to go ahead and start getting the darkest parts of his beak in there. And notice I'm not covering all of his beak, just going where the really dark shadows are. And just blocking that in, just getting the general colors in. But I'm leaving my space for like my gray highlights. There we go. Let's do a few more. So we're just getting his beak in there, pretty much shaped. Just getting some of those darkest colors in. We can do the same thing with the orange. He's got these orange stripes. Oops, wrong end. Might help if I use the right end. Let me just go. I'm just gonna do a little under here. And then take my yellow and do the other stripes. And I already broke these. Y'all, these are brand new and I'm already breaking them. It's okay though. The one thing that you do have to be careful about when you are using Me-Tints, this Me-Tints paper, is the tooth will fill up really quickly, and once it fills up, it's hard to, it won't accept any more pastel. You'll either have to brush some of the pastel off of it or erase some of it off. You can even spray a little bit of fixative on there to wear some of it down. So be really careful when you're working with the Me-Tints paper. And don't be scared. I know it looks terrible. It looks terrible, I know. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You know we got to go through our ugly stage. You know how it works. You go through the ugly stage and then it gets, you know, then it gets okay. So we got our ugly stage going on. And it's okay. I'll wipe my hands. I gotta clean my hands. So now I am going to start, I am going to start working on the top of his head. I'm going to come up here with just a little bit of this lemon yellow. And I'm trying to help. Now, if you don't have these, I'm using my Mungyo pastels. They're the gallery ones. They're supposed to be the better quality, not necessarily the student quality. But if you don't have these, just match whatever pastels you have. You don't have to go out and buy new stuff. If you've already got stuff, use that stuff. Now I'm going to take my light leaf green and I'm going to do some more strokes here. Then I'm going to take my pinky finger and just blend. I like to blend with my pinky finger and my ring finger because those are your weakest fingers on your hand, and you'll get the lightest touch and the better blending. At least that's true for my hands. Now, it might not be true for your hands, but for my hands, those are my weakest ones. Now I'm going to take some of this Viridian and add a little bit more shading, maybe a little bit of shading there. Put a few little strokes here and there. And I'm going to come back with my hard pastel. Hey, Jordy, thank you. Thank you for subscribing and welcome in. I'm going to start doing more lives, I think. I just have to figure out how to use all my technical equipment. So I am going to start doing more lives. I enjoy lives. I enjoy having my people with me so I can talk to them a little bit. So I'm just taking more of that darker green, and then I'm just going to blend that just a little bit. I got this one looking like a rooster at the top. Let me fix that. I got him. I'm trying to do him like a duck. He's got his little feathers sticking up like he's mad. We'll cover that up with some lemon yellow. Some lemon yellow. There, that's better. Now I'm going to get this really, really, really dark green, and it is chromium oxide green. I'm going to do some shadows right in here. So just use whatever dark green you have, though. If you don't have this, if you don't have the exact colors, don't freak out. All right, now I'm going to go for my cobalt. I think I'm going to do my hard pastel first. Well, this one's actually semi-hard. You can blend it in. Come in here for a little bit more in here. And then let me pull my camera out just a little bit and push this back so you can see what I'm doing on my shoulders. I am going to, for his wing, I'm just taking this hard cobalt pastel and just doing some broad strokes on the side just to get it going. There. Have to get some pastel pencils. I didn't do many. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to say anything just yet. Let's see how this goes. All right. Now we've got everything pretty much blocked in how we want it. I'm going to take this dark green pastel pencil. Just do some marks here. It's probably not dark enough. I probably need the black. I don't know, I mix that with just a little bit of black. To darken that up. And be a little bit careful with it. Yeah, that's better. And just do strokes. I'm just doing sort of feathery strokes just to give it some definition. Give that a shadow. You want it to have a shadow. It also has a little bit of a eyelid. I'm going to just take some of it, and I'm using really, really, really light pressure, guys, because I don't want it to be a black line like his that's going around his eye. I want it to just be a light sort of mark, almost gray mixing in with that white that we already put down. And you could use purple as well. I just don't have my purple pencil out, so we're just going to use what we have out. Now I'm going to start doing in some of these little you know what, no, I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to do that yet. I am going to come in with my soft white pastel and make that just a little bit darker. What I'm doing is I'm wiping off my pastel to make sure that it's clean before I go in here, because I don't want it to have another color on there. So I want this to be a little bit thicker, a little bit more opaque. So I'm using the soft pastel and just going over this. Before I put the black in. But I am trying to avoid where the black feathers are sticking out. I'm trying to avoid that. And I'm going to have to fix his eye here because I got some white in it. So I'm just going to come back with the black. Just kind of knock that back a little bit. Now I'm going to take my hard black pastel and start doing these little feathers that are growing on the white skin of his face. And then they come down. And I'm just using the edge of the tip. I'm just doing marks. I'm not trying to get them exactly like they look from the reference. If you're part of my dabblers, then you will have gotten the reference photo, the outline drawing, and the list of supplies that I used. You can download that inside Patreon for my dabblers and above. And I think I'm going to take, if I can do it, this little tip of this and just darken up the top there. Yeah, that looks good. So he's starting to look better. I'm going to take my white pencil. What I do with it, here we go. This is white, isn't it? Yeah, this is my white pencil. I'm going to sort of go around some of these edges so they look a little bit brighter. Oh, I forgot some. I see a little mark that I forgot to do. Some little feathers there. All right. And I'm going to smooth this out a little bit. In his nostril, I'm going to do a little of that, just to show where his nostril is. I'm going to take some of this. What color is this? Y'all tell me. Light flesh. Give it. I'm going to do that on his little nose pads there, whatever you want to call them. And then I am going to take the white. Sort of blend that because I want it to be of a sort of a pinky fleshy color. That's what color it is on the reference. So I'll go with that. And a little bit of a darker color there, a little bit here. Put a little bit more white in some of these areas. I'll wipe it off because it's getting black on it. All right, it's starting to come around, starting to look like something. Now let's see, what do I want to put? I'm going to take some of this hard pastel and just put it over that darker cobalt, and that is the sky blue. Yeah. I might put a little bit here, just to look like feathers. I'm going to put some more feathers right down the back of his side of his head. He needs more feathers right here. I didn't get them all in, so we're just going to do little marks. That's going to be his feathers. There, that looks better. And then I am going to take my pinky finger and just sort of tap on these feathers. And that just softens them up some. There. Now on his cheek here, he has got a lot of little wrinkly lines where his cheek is wrinkled. That's where his beak goes into his. So we're just going to do really light pressure and just do some random wrinkle lines. Can you see those? Hopefully you can. Thank you, Jordy. I just saw your comment that my art is so beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'm just doing just little random wrinkly lines. And I'm going to take some of my sort of yellowish pastel. What's the name of this one? Yellow ochre. And I'm just going to put a little bit in there, and that just kind of brightens it up some, you know. I don't know, it just gives it something. You don't have to do that, but I like it. I think it gives it a little bit of a contrast and it brightens it up, gives it a little glow. Also going to put just a little bit around his eye here, because I don't have my purple out and I'm not getting up to go get it. So we're going to use what I've got out here. We're going to make it work, even if it doesn't look like the original one. Alright, so I did forget that this is black. I put the blue down first, but this is actually black. But I want some of that blue in there. That's why I put the blue down first. So we're going to do his little black collar. Just put that in there. Alright, we are getting there. He needs some white. He needs like a little white highlight. Yeah. I don't know if you can even see that, but it looks better to me. Now this this area between his the upper part of his beak and the lower part of his beak is really, really dark. So I am really going to darken that in and keep it dark. I don't want any light color on there. I want that to stay dark, because that is the darkest, probably the darkest part of the whole picture, is right there between his two beaks. He also has a little wrinkle going up there, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. All right. I'm going to define this just a little bit more. So you can see those. I'm going to darken this up where it meets. And I'm just using my black to do this. You know, I would never do that in watercolor. Never, never, never. But that's what I love about pastels, is you can do different things. I am going to take some of this, what's the name of this color? Red oxide. And I'm just going to do some little stippling here, where he's got the darkest part of his little nostril. His nostril's kind of fleshy looking. So I'm just doing little tiny dots. Stippling, that's the name of it. And I'm going to do some on this side. There. And I think he needs some up here around his, on the other side of his little nostril. I'm going to take this dark green, even though I didn't do it on the original, and I'm going to darken up this nostril in here on this one side. I think that looks fine. I might put some green here too. I'm just getting crazy with it, y'all. I'm just doing whatever. I'm just going straight off script and doing what I want to do. I'm going to take some of this white and do some stippling on this little fleshy part. And I'm going to come back with the black again, just right around this edge. You know what? I want to come back in with this. There, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. You could even blend that just a little bit if you want. All right, now let's work on this beak. This beak is a monster. It's not really a monster, but it kind of is. So I'm just going to blend this first coat that we put in, this little blocking in layer. And I'm getting way over my outline. So I'm just going to take my kneaded eraser and knock that out. I'm also smearing a little bit over here, so we'll clean that up. Clean that up a little bit. Like I said, you have to be careful with this meat tints because it will fill up fast, the tooth. Now I'm just taking this darker gray. It is cool gray, and I'm going to do some lines in here with that where it's not quite as dark, it's not as black. So I'm going to use gray as the first blocking in color. And down here as well. And some more black. And I'm using my soft black to start really getting this darkened up. This part is really black. Really, really black, and this part is really, really black. Now I am going to come in, do I have a lighter gray? I'm going to come in with a little bit of a lighter gray and start doing a little bit lighter here and there. I'm just trying to look at where the highlights are, and I'm just going to put those in. And he's got a really, really pale white highlight here on his beak. So we're going to go with it. Hey, Jay! You supposed to be at work, dude. What you doing? You got to be making that money. Going out there getting that bread, man. All right, once you got those layers down, then we are going to smooth them all together. And again, I like to use my pinky or either my ring finger. This is it's my first live that's for everybody. You know, usually I do my lives for my patrons and for your patrons, but this is my first live like for whoever wants to come and see it. So, yeah. A snitch? I'm not gonna tell you're supposed to be working, but dang. I've been missing you so bad, Jay, because I'm so used to just coming in the morning, turning on my computer, hearing your beautiful voice, hearing you fussing and moaning and pissing and bitching about stuff, and now I'm just lost without you. I am lost. You know, it's so weird how you get so attached to people. Let's see. So I'm just taking my harder white here and just kind of putting in those striations throughout the beak. And I'm going to take my white soft pastel. Put a little bit more white there. Look at me. I'm making a mess. I'm going to have to wash my hands. My hands are getting too dirty. But that's why we have a kneaded eraser, because that kneaded eraser is like magic. It's like magic. Love it. All right, let me wash my hands real quick since I'm making such a mess. I'm gonna put it over here so you can actually see what I'm doing. Jay, do you know when you're going to do your next live? Y'all, if you're not familiar with Jay has a channel called what, The Shaming of Jay? Is that the name of the channel? Anyway, he follows court cases, and we watch live trials together, but he has gotten himself another job, so he's doing that at night. But he is my favorite live streamer on YouTube, and I have been with him since he first started. I think, Jay, are you going to go, if you're still here, Jay, are you going to go over the Grandma Gotti, Donald Adelson trial at night? Because if you are, I'm going to watch that. And I don't know when that trial starts. So now I'm going to take the white pencil, and I'm going to start teasing out these highlights on his beak. Oh, tomorrow afternoon? Cool. It's getting to be winter time, so I'm not going to be working out in the yard as much, so I'll be able to catch you and Steve more during the weekend. But during the planting season, you know how I am. I'm just Farmer Joe over here. So I'm just getting those highlights sort of marked out, teasing them out with my white pencil. Now come down here to the bottom and get these white highlights teased out as well. And I suggest for beginners to get pencils because we're all familiar with pencils. We've been using pencils since we learned to write, so pencils are usually the easiest to manage, and they do a really good job. Now I am going to take my black soft pastel and just come around this edge and darken that up where I got a little bit light with my gray. Darken in some more of these areas that are really dark with that soft pastel. Now this is my first live pastel because I haven't been doing pastels, but as you see, I love them. So, and then, but y'all should follow Jay. I don't know how to do the fancy link in the thing like he does yet, but yeah, y'all should, if you like true crime, and I know a lot of y'all do, he's the one to follow. So now I am going to take my soft white and do the really lightest highlights. I'm going to just clean up this area a little bit. So I'm going to take my soft white. I'm going to wipe it off first. I'm just going to wipe it off with my towel. Okay, 916, Donald Adelson. That is going to be an interesting trial, guys. If y'all are interested in trials, watch Jay. It's the Shaming of Jay. Jay, write out what your channel is in there, because I know I got a lot of true crime people that are also artists, so they might be interested. So write that out in the chat. Your channel. I know I don't know how to do a link. Hey, if I make you be a wrench guy, could you do the link? I don't know. I'm not in the right. No, I can't do a wrench right now because I'm not in the right stuff. So now I'm just adding some of these little white highlights here and there, and that brings it out some with my soft pastel. There. All right, we are getting there, guys. We are getting there. Now let's work on some of this. Y'all, I was about to say foliage. Some of these feathers. some of these foliage feathers. Let's get this going here. Put a little bit more black on there and blend it in. All right. Then we are going to start with these. I'm going to take some of my orange. What color is this? This is deep orange. Hey, Robin. Well, thanks for letting me know that you're at least kind of listening in here. We appreciate you. Thank you for popping in. So I'm going to take this orange. I'm going to go ahead and start doing... Ooh, that's some orange, y'all. But that really seems like it's waking it up. I'm waking that up. Thanks, Jay, for stopping in. I appreciate you and love you. Y'all gotta follow Jay if you like true crime. Now, he is a fan of the cursey words, so I guess I need to warn y'all about that, but he's a good, decent guy, even if he is a little rough around the edges sometimes. But I love me some Jay. Now I'm just taking this deep yellow and going back where I wanted these yellow feathers, going around some of my orange. We're getting to like the easy part. The hard part is that the nose and the eyes. And I will have to clean this up when I finish because I have made a little bit of a mess because I get too excited and get going. I get going and get too excited. And just blend it out with your fingers. I'm going to come back up here on this one with this sort of turquoise. I think it's called light cobalt. No, light phthalo green. I'm just going to do some ends here. I'll come back in with that green, that leaf green, right over that. He's got a little leaf green sticking out there too. I might even do a few here. Just a few little highlights with this leaf green up here. So we got a look of feathers. I think that's pretty good. All right. Yes. Y'all, we getting there. I'm going to take some of this darker, is this the Viridian? Yeah. And just do some little shadows in there. You don't have to get your panties in a wad with it. Just be, you know, just go with the flow. That's what I say. I'm going to take some sky blue and add a few highlights. And I'm going to take this lighter cobalt blue and just mix that in too. That brightens it up some. I'm going to come back over this yellow stripe with this lemon yellow. This yellow stripe, some more lemon yellow. I'm going to add some more. Thanks, Linda. I hope y'all can see my setup here. I can't see because I got so much stuff around me. I can't see my screen to watch my monitor to see if y'all can see. So I'm hoping y'all can see everything. Here, let me see if I can back this up just a little bit. Now I'm gonna have to back the actual. Here we go. So we're just gonna add some of the brighter yellow here. And I'm just doing lines. I'm not doing anything special, but it still is coming across as feathers. I'm going to come with this really pale yellow, and it has green on it. Just blend some of that in. All right, let me look at it for a second, y'all, so I can see what I need to do. I need something in that. Let me come with this really, what color is this? Deep vermilion. Well, let's go in here and do some lines so that we can break up that orange. Yeah, that looks better. And put a little here. He's so fluffy. We got a fluffy parrot here. I think I'm going to take some white and lighten some of this up right. Well, I think I'm going to do it with my pencil because the pencils will fit in there better. Although I think it would look better with a soft pastel, but I can't get that to. We're just going to use what we got. Now I'm going to pat some of these down with just my ring finger just to take some of that. Just to soften it, but not to remove the texture altogether, just to soften it up some. And this is just preference. It's just how I'm doing it. You don't have to do it that way. What we need, I'm going to even go with this. I think I am going to go off script, and I think I'm going to use some of this magenta right here. Well, it says it's purple. And I am going to come in here and just add a little bit of, now I didn't do this on the original one. I'm experimenting now. I'm going off script. But I think I like the purple in there a little bit. Yeah, I like it. I need a little bit of a lighter. I'm going to go with this really light blue here, and it is, says it's smalt blue. I'm just going to add a few little highlights on some of these feathers. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. That looks good. I'm going to take my pastel pencil and just sort of blend that soft pastel down into the paper. Just like that. Pull some of these feathers down through with my pencil. I think we're getting close, guys, getting close. I am going to take a little bit of this white right here, just right on this outer edge. There. Alright, now we're going to do the wings, and I think we're going to call him finished because I think you pretty much see how to do him. So I am going to go with this cobalt. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, light cobalt. First I'm going with my regular cobalt. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Blend it a little bit more. And I'm going to take my lighter cobalt and just do sort of feathery marks, like little chunks of feathers. Let your eye do the work of making it look like a feather. I'm going to take this hard pastel and sort of blend those two together a little bit. Alright, and then I am going to take this hard sky blue pastel. I'm going to wipe it off because it's got a lot of color on it. And we are just going to do the highlights. I might even do a little bit of, where's my really pale? Let's go over that with just, there we go. And then we can just take a little bit of this darkest Prussian blue, do some darker areas, and put some up here, put a little blue over the black, and that wakes it up just a little bit. You can even put a little bit in here. Put some more yeah, that looks better. Y'all, I think if I keep on going, we're gonna have a big mess here. Well, there you go. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Let's see. That is my parrot, and I hope that you saw how to do it, and maybe you can go and replicate it on your own and, you know, do your thing. You see how I did it. I probably could clean this up a little bit more over here. This has gotten a little bit lost in the shuffle. I'm gonna take my, but I think overall you get the idea, and you know, it's pretty good. Now I'm gonna probably cut off about that much of it whenever I mat it. And if you want to protect it, you can use, here's the original one. If you want to protect it, you can use fixative. I wouldn't, but I would just put a piece of either tracing paper or glassine paper over it, tape it to the back, and just have it over it to protect it until you get it framed. But I highly recommend to frame all your pastels to protect them. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody coming, and it was just so nice of y'all to be here. Bye, y'all. Now, next week, next week we are going to be doing watercolor, and I'm going to do a live watercolor next Friday. So be tuned. Put that on your calendar. Next Friday we are going to do a live watercolor tutorial. All right, bye guys. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you and appreciate all my patrons.